There's one lie that almost every successful man believes, that if you just build the life that society is telling you to, then you'll eventually be happy. But if that's true, why do so many successful men feel empty? It took me years to figure this out, but when I finally did, it changed everything. I spent a decade building the life that I thought I was supposed to want until I realized that I was actually chasing somebody else's version of success. Over the last 10 years, I've rebuilt my life piece by piece from the ground up, living in more than 20 different countries and finally doing it my way. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to start building a life that's actually yours. So many guys get to their 30s and 40s and wonder why every single achievement they make seems to wear off so quickly. It's also exactly around this point in their lives where a lot of guys, including myself, start to wonder if there's something wrong with them or have some kind of breakdown. If you go to the doctor, they'll tell you that you're depressed or that you have low testosterone, and they'll probably want to medicate you. Or you just stay on track and you plow ahead and you do exactly what society tells you to do. You keep on chasing, keep on pushing. More money, promotions, bigger house, more extravagant holidays, a Porsche, a Lambo. This dopamine-fueled pathway is supposed to lead you to happiness, but it doesn't work out that way. The reason is because of something called the hedonic treadmill. Researchers once interviewed two groups of people. On the one hand, they had lottery winners, and on the other side, people who were recently paralyzed in an accident. A year later, the lottery winners weren't meaningfully more happy than before they had won, and perhaps more interestingly, the accident victims were not on average meaningfully less happy than before the accident either. So what they saw was that both groups just drifted back towards their baseline. So how does that actually translate? It means that every time you hit a milestone, you end up just back to your baseline, the high fades, and you end up exactly where you started. The treadmill just keeps going until that next dopamine spike. Money doesn't make this any better past a certain point either. The research on money and happiness showed that the two actually only move together until around $75,000 a year. So if the doctors are wrong and chasing more is wrong, then what's actually going on? Here's the real problem. You spent decades building a life before deciding what success actually means to you. So you ended up achieving somebody else's definition of it. Most of us never consciously design our lives, we just sleepwalk into them. Nobody asked us, what do you actually want? Think of it like this. Imagine being handed a treasure map when you're a kid. You spend 30 years painstakingly following the map, looking forward to finally claiming your bounty. But when you finally reach the treasure, you open the chest, and inside you find somebody else's treasure and not your own. It's not until we become truly conscious that we can finally start to cut through all of the bullshit and figure out what actually matters to us. You'll also realize that a lot of said bullshit is actually your own and the stories that you tell yourself. You're the only thing that's blocking you from living the life you actually want to live. So you need to get out of your own way, and then you can be free to live the life that you actually want to. So if we know the problem, why is knowing it not enough? This is where most guys get stuck. And it's exactly what I'm going to get into today. And the reason that I know all of this is because that guy used to be me. It was a Monday morning, and I remember being sat on the London bus on my way to work. My feet were freezing cold and wet because I'd stepped in a puddle that I had to wade through to get onto the bus. As I looked around the bus at all of the miserable faces on their way to work, who'd no doubt been drowning their sorrows in the pub all weekend, I had this horrible feeling of deja vu. I looked out the window at the grey sky and drizzle, and I wondered if my umbrella would hold out in the wind on Waterloo Bridge, or if I was about to get drenched again. All this before I'd even started my working week. Just living for the weekend, feeling miserable and unfulfilled. It wasn't like I was afraid of change. Like, I'd changed careers once already, and I'd worked my way up to be doing exactly the job that I wanted to be doing. I had a great social life and I was in good shape financially, but I just wasn't fulfilled at all. I knew deep down that I wanted to move abroad and I wanted to be my own boss. But even when I finally did this, I was still unhappy on some level because I still wasn't really building the life that I wanted for myself or fixing the underlying issues that I had. I was hopelessly addicted to dopamine highs and chasing after the wrong things. In order for the real growth to happen, I had to hit the bottom. It was only then that I could become completely conscious of what was actually going on in my world. That was when I decided what I really wanted and went to work on it. I realized that I was drinking to feel something. I was chasing women to feel something. I was earning money to feel something, but none of it was actually about those things. It was really about the fact that I didn't feel like I was enough on my own. What I really needed was to learn to feel validated without any of those things, so that the things that I desired externally would actually lead me towards my life goals. I realized that I was working on the external redesign before I started working on the internal one. So I was actually painting the canvas of my life the way that other people wanted me to, rather than the way that I wanted to. So what happens if you don't change any of this? Maybe you wake up at 65 and you look back at your life, you're wealthy, you're comfortable, you feel respected, but you're quietly wondering, did I really do the things of my life that I wanted to? Or was I just being safe and following somebody else's rulebook? Like, whose life am I actually living? There was a great book by an Australian palliative care nurse about the patients she'd worked with and interviewed over the years and their biggest regrets in life. The number one regret came in as overwhelmingly, I wish I'd had the courage to live my life true to myself and not the life that others expected of me. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be one of those dying patients one day, looking back on my life, wondering, what if I'd have snapped out of it and woken up and really lived my life the way that I wanted to? The good news for you is that you're watching this video, which means that you still get to choose. Let me ask you something. If money wasn't an issue, if nobody could judge you, if your parents and society had no opinion whatsoever, what kind of life would you actually choose? That's the life we're trying to uncover. So what's the solution? I could tell you to go meditate and do some journaling and, follow your passion and your purpose. And they're really useful tools for sure, but they're much further downstream from what actually needs to shift in you. So first things first, figure out what you actually want. Not your parents, not your mates, not Instagram, not society at large, you. I would start by writing down the things that you're passionate about and make you happy. What your dream day looks like, what your ideal living situation is, your dream job, your dream girl, your dream girls, whatever floats your boat. And how your life would really look if money and time and what other people think were really no object whatsoever. This is going to be the basis of what you decide to do moving forwards. I would also make a list of your 10 core values in order. And once you have that list, you'll notice where your life is out of alignment already, and you'll be able to get to work making the changes required. Step 2, then you redesign your life around the things that you actually want, and you ensure that those things are very much aligned with your values. Step number 3, and this was a game changer for me, and it's just so simple. You break all of this down into yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily actions that move you towards that life. And then you get started on point 1 today. Not tomorrow, not next Tuesday, today. And step 4 is get some real accountability. You may be the 1 in a million who's truly self-motivated and needs absolutely no help here, but let's be honest with each other. Given the fact that you're watching this video, I truly doubt that that's the case. If it is, congratulations and good luck on your reinvention journey. If not, then you do need to get accountable for making this change. There's something so powerful about making an oath with another man and then sticking to that oath and being a man of your word. In order to do that, I would suggest getting together with a good friend or friends who also have some kind of overarching life goal they want to achieve and form an accountability group between you. Or if you want fast results, then you work with a good coach, whatever works for you. They say that knowledge is power, but I think that's completely wrong. Or at least incomplete. I think it's actually knowledge plus action is power. All the information you need is out there. It's just implementing it that's the hard part. It's so easy to mistake consuming personal development content for making real progress. So don't let this video become another mistake. Imagine waking up and not wondering, is this really it? But knowing that every day you're moving towards a life that you deliberately chose. That's real freedom. That's how it feels to have a real sense of purpose and not wake up in the morning and hit the snooze button, desperately not wanting to go to a job that you hate, making money for a company you couldn't care less about. I lived both these lives, and I'm not going to lie, the reinvention process was hard and there were some really tough times, but I would not change any of it. Now I wake up excited every day. I do work that I want to do and enjoy, and I live in a place that makes me feel happy, and I choose exactly how I spend my time. I no longer rely on external validation to feel enough, and I take a huge amount of joy in building the life for myself that's unmistakably my own. So instead of waiting for something to snap or to break down, why not get ahead of it and do something about your situation right now? I work with a small number of men on exactly this. Real structure, real accountability, and not just another video watched without taking any action. The link's down below for a free discovery call. There's no pitch, just an honest conversation about where you're at. Thank you for watching, and good luck on your journey to building a life that is unmistakably your own.